Hello, my name is Kara-Leah. Today I want to talk to you about what is yoga. So I'm a yoga teacher. I teach yoga, and people often ask me, what style of yoga do you teach, or what is yoga? So here's my understanding, what I've come to realize over the years that I've been practicing yoga. It's very easy to confuse the tools that allow us to practice yoga with yoga itself. So I'll say that again. It's very easy to confuse the tools which we use to practice yoga with yoga itself. So for example, one of the tools that we use are physical postures or poses, asana, whatever you want to call it. Asana is not yoga itself, it's just what we do to practice yoga. So what that means too is that someone can be doing a yoga posture like triangle pose, for example, and yet not actually be in a state of yoga. And there's a really important difference there for all of us to understand. So when people often say to me, I don't practice yoga, or I'm too inflexible, or I can't do yoga, etc., etc., it's like, well, hang on a sec. Maybe you're already practicing yoga or being yoga and you don't even know it. So if yoga is not the actual posture and that is just a tool that we use to practice yoga, what is yoga? It's just, in my experience, yoga is a state of being. It's the way that we are in the world with everything that we're doing in our day-to-day life. So we can be in yoga when we're driving to work, when we're washing the dishes, when we're relating with our loved ones, when we're looking after the children. All of these occasions are opportunities to be in yoga. They're often a more difficult place for us to be in yoga than, say, on our mat, but they are still opportunities for us to be in yoga. So it's a state of being. How to describe that state of being? So, okay, what is the state of being that is yoga? Being yoga is being completely present to what is, to witnessing the mind as something that is not oneself, that is separate from oneself. Well, at the same time, nothing is separate, but don't worry about that right now. So yoga is that state of being where you are present and you're able to stay aware of what's going on. When we first start practicing yoga, as in getting onto a mat and doing physical postures, we start to encounter little glimpses of this, little feelings, or we finish at 90-minute class and we feel amazing, incredible. We can't quite put our finger on, man, I feel so good, what is this about, and we're starting to shift from living in our minds, which is kind of like being in a prison, you don't even know that you're in, to being present with what is, even if just for a moment we get a taste and we want more. So we go back to yoga, and we go back to yoga, and we go back to yoga. For some of us, that's where we might get a little bit stuck, because we perceive that yoga is something that's happening on the mat and we don't necessarily take it into our everyday, regular life. And for me, as a person or as a teacher, that's what I'm all about. How do we live a yoga? How can I be in yoga while I'm doing the dishes? How can I be in yoga while I'm speaking to you right now? How can I be in yoga when I'm dealing with my son's father, or when I'm dealing with my son, or when I'm dealing with the power company that cut our power off the other day? How can I be in a state of yoga then? To me, that is the real practice. I get on my mat just so I can get right back in there and feel it, but then I want to take it with me. Otherwise, it has no value. Otherwise, it's almost indulgent to just go practice on your mat and not take it into your life. So you don't necessarily have to practice physical postures in order to be doing yoga. There are other ways to access that state of being. Some people do well by chanting, using sound, mantra. If you naturally love singing, you know that feeling when you are right there and you're right present and you're open. You're already probably practicing yoga. So maybe mantra would be the way for you to access it more and more and be able to take it into your daily life. For others of us, actually just meditating is a wonderful way to access yoga. What other ways? Pranayama, breath work. Love pranayama. That is amazing. For me, that's probably my key practice. Not necessarily postures anymore. I still practice. I still teach them. But it's a daily breath work and meditation that really helps me to maintain a state of yoga. So if you've been thinking to yourself, yoga's not for me, I don't want to practice yoga, blah, 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 or even if you've been doing postures or a bit of this or a bit of that, just start to understand that yoga is a state of being where you are present to the moment and you're able to witness the mind, witness the thoughts, witness the dramas, witness the stories, and know that that is not who you are. That is not who you are. Yoga is that state of being where you start to feel who you truly are. Who you truly are. That's when life just gets so juicy. It seems like a good place to stop, eh? Blessings.